Good to see everybody out here. Mandatory, mini camp. Just the way we run our off-season programs, it's just another week for us. Just so happens that the rules change a little bit. We can have a little bit more meetings, especially post-practice. Ends up being an important time to really take a look at kind of our roster as a whole right now, going into the last couple weeks here, where we'll obviously then be able to prepare in a really good way to make sure we maximize our training camp and how we're going to do that. A lot of new members of our team. Obviously, welcome back Dalton Reisner last Friday, and then getting Jets back today. Felt like, as I've been feeling for much of the spring, it felt like it's a really complete team we've put together, Kwesi and his staff. Feel like we're really building something. I know the guys attack every single day with a kind of urgency and energy that's really good to see. You feel confidence from this group. So we'll continue to build on that. And in addition to that, I know, I spoke a little earlier today, but just to echo those comments about the importance of Justin Jefferson to me as the head coach of this team, our entire coaching staff, his teammates, and just our, organization as a whole. This was a really cool day to be a part of, and one, quite frankly, that we've been very much looking forward to for a long time. So very happy for Justin and his family. He got off to a great start today.
What was the value of getting that deal done now so you could be here for mandatory?
Yeah, I think it just provides clarity for everyone. Gives us 3 really good days. How we're structuring these days, albeit a week early this year, we're structuring it in a way where we can truly maximize the complete time allotted and really get the most out of it. So they're going to be not only really beneficial work for our whole team, but with Justin, joining the team this week, it gives him some great days to really gain some momentum, albeit in a short off season with the team. But it's clear looking at him today, he's in great shape. He's dialed in, picked up right where he left off, and now he can feel that much more smooth about how he'll prepare and then enter training camp come the fall.
What are you to get him in here, just knowing you have new quarterbacks? I guess how much of a bonus is that to have him and have that deal done so that he is here?
Yeah, I think it's, the pitch and catch factor will always be part of playing our game. You can have a bunch of lines on a sheet of paper. You can run it against every coverage known to man and feel good about kind of the what and the why, but you still got to have that how and that feel between player to player. And we get a lot of time between now and training camp to really attack it on a daily basis, make sure our installs are in alignment with the learning process for not only the quarterbacks but our whole team. This is year 3 in this system for some guys, years 2 or year 1 for others, and where we're at, we're really applying some new principles. We're building upon things we've done before, trying to recreate what we've been able to do, which is have success, but just be more consistent, have a few more layers to our offense, especially with some added personnel like an Aaron Jones, and the growth and development of the rest of the guys out there alongside the quarterbacks who are having a really good spring.
What do you envision from Justin as a leadership standpoint this season?
Yeah, I think picking up where he left off, Dave, just the idea of, it was important to him last year to be voted a captain by his teammates. It was important for him to handle the adversity that none of us could have seen coming that he went through last year. And the way he handled it, the work he put in, and then ultimately the way he hit the field and immediately produced and led when he was able to come back, I think served a huge message to the rest of his teammates, veteran guys, that he's a guy we can not only really count on, but he can be a guy that sets the entire tone of this organization. He's always been a competitor. He's always been a worker. Nobody works on the grass like Justin Jefferson. That's why I know when he's away from us, it's always hard on him, knowing that he's missing that time. And so to get him back out here and watch him immediately lock back in and go to work was great for our whole team.
Kwesi, I've been saying all along you knew it was going to happen, but what is the sense of relief right now that it is? There's got to be a sense of relief for both of you.
Yeah, I don't know as much relief, just because my thoughts the whole time were we would get this done, knowing the mindset and the urgency that we had on our side of things, and things like this take time. It's a unique thing. It's a unique contract for a unique player at this point in time in his career, and the timelines on things are always tricky, especially when you have voluntary off-season programs. The season end, and there's a little bit of time before it actually becomes the deadlines spur action type of mentality. But all in all, the communication, the dialogue, the respect from both sides was important. And I was really happy, in my observations of how things went. And then ultimately couldn't be more happy with the conclusion that we got to experience today.
I know you and Kwesi both said often that weren't going to trade him or thinking about trading Justin, but did you ever feel compelled or obligated, given the amount of trade rumors that were out there, just to sort of reassure him or reassure the people around him or whoever that no, we really aren't trying to trade you?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question, because a lot of times we know the integrity and the pillars of communication, the things we feel that are very true are happening in real time, not only amongst each other, but with the player involved, with the representation of the player involved. And there's a certain way we kind of do business. And so when you hear some things, a lot of things kind of come and go, and you chalk it up to what they are. But when, there's things that are just so far outside the realm of what's actually happening and taking place, you find yourself wanting to come out and say, which I will, unequivocally, we never ever one time discussed internally amongst the leadership. I don't know, some people have sources far and wide, but I would say amongst the leadership, amongst the decision makers, the people that are directly involved with the situation, there really was not one time that was ever discussed, game planned, contingency planned. And I think that's really important, because it's not just about the result from today, Kevin. It's about the process at which we're pretty proud of, although timelines sometimes aren't on other people's lenses as far as whether it was productive or not. But I can tell you what got done with Justin Jefferson, how it got done, and then the type of team, locker room he walked back into today, coaching staff, and the excitement Justin had to be here today are all benefits from that process being what it was.
Kevin, when it comes to just splitting up the reps with Sam taking the starters and
Yep.
developing JJ on the field, I guess how do you view that process through minicamp? Do you envision it being similar to that in training camp, or do you want to see where JJ is?
No, I think when you get to training camp, practices can be a little longer. You can really dissect and implement different phases, whether it's situational work, third down, red zone, 2-minute. You can have the early down work. You can have run emphasis periods. You can, cut the field in half and have half-line drills. You can really maximize those days and really put it together from a spectrum of the whole month of training camp. We're still in the learning phase, and I think that the improvement from day one to now, especially in certain aspects that we've really been focusing on, has been really apparent. Sam's had a great spring, really engaging with a new offense, new verbiage, new teammates, and every single day getting a lot out of it with production, but then also making sure mistakes aren't being made twice. There's a real emphasis on being dialed into the details of what we do, how we communicate, and then the feedback that they have for me or Josh or Wes or Grant that allow us to coach at a higher level and make sure we're providing the clarity that we need to during the learning phase, because there's nothing more important than that initial first or second time you're going through the installs, where it can start to become a little bit more of your own second language in a lot of ways. And they're coming from either college football or different offenses in the NFL, where it might look and sound and feel the same, but that still doesn't replicate getting actually out here and getting to get reps within the rhythm and timing of how we talk about and execute plays.
What do you want to see out of Harry with a look at tight end, and what can best help him is if he does transition from receiver to tight end?
Yeah, I think anytime you're looking to transition a receiver to the tight end position, and Nikhil is really fired up about it. He has attacked the process long before even we ever got started in the offseason program. But you're hoping to see the receiving traits kind of lead the way early on as they get a little bit more comfort in maybe having their hand down, being a part of run schemes, the different kind of run schemes that we're implementing. And Nikhil has shown that. His route ability, his ability to be explosive, contested catches, different variations where we're hoping we're really developing, even at this stage in his career. A position change is always unique. But we're hoping we're developing a guy that can grow into a real third down weapon, red zone weapon with his skill set. And then the more and more he can do from an all down standpoint will only help his value as we continue to really put together that tight end group, knowing that TJ is along that recovery process and doing a great job with it. But we're going to have a lot of reps. We're going to have those guys be able to battle it out for those roles, especially early in the season.
Did you have to remind the DBs to go easy at the end of plays or anything like that, or has everyone got the message, go into the break healthy?
Yeah, we've done a great job kind of handling it is a unique time of year where you're truly not as competitive as we'll be when training camp begins, when we can have pads on and the guardian caps and everything. So we have a mantra of taking care of each other around here. We've still had a very competitive spring for it being the learning phase, especially in the passing game, in those 7-on-7 periods. But no, there's still a few days to go, so I don't want to celebrate too early. But it's been a very productive spring, and we've been able to keep our guys coming back out there every day and working.
TJ, where is he at in his recovery process, and is there you guys have any more of a timetable on? How
Yeah,
that's
I
going?
really don't, Ben. As all I can tell you is he's on schedule. He's had great checkups with his docs. Tyler and the staff are doing a really good job with him. It is part of the grind process of that rehab at this point, where he's been able to really develop certain aspects of his movement and strength and those things, but it's still the day-to-day and just trying to make sure we win today's day to be a little bit better tomorrow, and we'll kind of keep you guys updated as we get into training camp. They're with the rules the way they are now, with the ability to designate guys for return, you can find ways to get guys out practicing with the team and on a timeline that might have been different in years past when you would have used the physically unable to perform list. So we'll keep you guys updated on how that'll go. I can just say between really it's TJ and Van Ginkel at this point, we're very pleased with where they're at. They've pretty much been 100% participation even in a camp where they can't fully actively participate in every rep. It's been huge, I know, from the doctors and from our training staff standpoint, their commitment to being here to do that.
Last two. How do you view just the left guard situation now with Reiser coming back?
Yep.
But, obviously, you guys have spoken highly of Blake Randall as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things we really wanted to do and part of the process with the timing of things, and once again, maintaining a ton of dialogue with Dalton. Very thankful and really thought Dalton did a lot of good things when he got here last year. But at the same time, Blake has been a guy, really, since he's gotten here, has been asked to really be ready to play 2 or 3 different spots at one time. So our challenge to Blake was really embrace that left guard spot through the spring, really get the teaching and the mastery of your craft at one spot, which he really hasn't been able to do since he's been a Minnesota Viking. And we've seen the gains off that between not only Blake, but his fit amongst those 5 offensive linemen. And then there was a purpose and a plan of bringing Dalton back to create a very competitive situation at that left guard spot. We want to play the best 5 guys we can. Could see a bunch of different combinations of guys in there, especially as we try to allow that competition to naturally kind of play out in a way where this time we have training camp. It's not mid-season. It's not 4 or 5 weeks into the season, whenever it was last year. Dalton's got a year in the system under his belt. He's a veteran player. He came in great shape, ready to roll. So I feel really good between, really that position, bringing in a guy like Feeney to be another interior piece. And then you got Quest back, which was huge for me at that veteran swing spot to go along with 2 rookies and some CFA types that we feel like can really push and make that at the first, second, third groups of that offensive line really competitive. Because that's one thing we really wanted to have an emphasis on this year, was it's not just about those 5 guys that are out there, it's the depth, and then it's the development of guys that are on the practice squad. Can we rely on them to continue to have kind of an arrow up mindset to push people, not only next year but the following year? Because when you're having to reinvent that room every single year, it can be difficult from a continuity standpoint, and feeling like you've got, you'd love to have a farm system in that offensive line room. And we feel really good about kind of the group that got put together.
Last one.
Jordan Hicks gone, where are you looking with the green dot on defense, and who are the candidates there?
Yeah, I think you're seeing a little bit with IP, and IP for a guy, it's still remarkable, even where he's at right now, to think that this is just his second year. He's had a very good spring, just the type of communication Flo is putting on his plate. We also want to have Blake Cashman and Kamu be ready to handle some of that green dot work. BA has done it a little bit in the past, so you look at those 4 guys and some of the down the line young guys we have. We got Abe back as well, the depth of that room, just the versatility, and that's when you continue to say, man, we're versatile in that room, but we also have Josh Metellus, Cam Bynum, Harrison Smith, Theo, Lou, all these guys that are really interchangeable, Jay Ward, to possibly play in those dime groupings, nickel groupings when they can go inside. So it's really unique, and I think Flo, if he prefers it one way, it's the type of depth we now have. Love some of the additions, the energy, the fit of some of the guys we really featured to go after in free agency. And once again, it's very, very hard to project based upon the learning phase of how we do things here. But I can tell you I leave here every day excited about what that group looks like and more importantly, what it can become once we get through August.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.